if you're lactose intolerant, you can't watch this movie because it's got so much cheese.
Sorry, yeah, I gotta go. You guys can do this on your own now.
Nope, end it there. You agree 100%. I'm right. Okay, before we get into this episode, we have one quick call to action for everybody here. James, why don't you tell them what it is?
Yep, we're trying to grow our base on YouTube specifically. Obviously, we want more listeners everywhere, but YouTube specifically. So if you could please subscribe, that would help us a lot. We really appreciate it, and thank you again for tuning in.
Guys, it's free. It's one little button. Just go push subscribe, click it, hit it. It helps us out a lot. We appreciate it.
It's red.
It's red. You know where
Who
it is.
doesn't like red buttons?
Yeah. On that note, to another episode of The Flicks Fellas. Hello, fellas. I'm Fella Joe, joined by Fella Kevin.
Hi.
And Fella James.
Hi.
I hate that intro, but we're going to stick with it.
I was gonna say, I feel like that's the first time in a while we've introduced ourselves by name, because I know the last ones I've edited, there's nowhere to really put our name title cards, so they've just been non-existent.
I've also just been not doing that. I don't know if it's laziness
What? It
or...
looks so cool.
Well, the last one I edited was Outlaw King, which we were all in person, so it's hard to do it all three at the same time.
That's true.
And
Make a new one, Joe.
Make a new what?
Like a new title card for when we're all next to each
Oh,
other.
I
You
could
lazy
do that.
piece of
You're
shit.
right. I have been lazy. I apologize to you guys, and I apologize to our
Unreal.
fans.
I don't think you can say that, Kevin. I don't think you can call Joey out for being lazy.
Yeah, Kevin.
I don't think you can.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Who consistently gets our workout late?
That's true. That's true.
It's good. I was supposed to get clips
James
out.
is the only one who doesn't get anything not late.
Never missed an episode. Never not been in an episode of Flicks Fellas. Never missed an upload. I don't think. I've taken it one down one time.
Aren't you so fucking special, James?
We should probably talk about the movie at some point.
Yeah, let's talk about today's movie.
Yeah.
It is a 2021 Netflix original. Came out October 27th, called Hypnotic, directed by Matt Angel, Suzanne Coote, written by Richard Dovidio, I think that's right.
Sounds Italian.
Starring Kate Siegel, Jason O'Mara, and Dule Hill, about a young woman seeking self-improvement who enlists the help of a renowned hypnotherapist. But after a handful of intense sessions, she discovers unexpected and deadly consequences. Now, the writer, Richard Dovidio, again, don't know if that's right or not, he also is known
Probably
for
not.
writing The Call, which we talked about in a previous episode. Yes, I thought you'd enjoy that, Kevin.
That
Similar
is a
to
good
the
one.
movie The Guilty. So let's get right into our first reactions on this movie. It's about an hour and a half timeline, and I'm going to
Shorter one.
throw this one to James.
I don't know. I don't think I'm going to be alone here. This movie was a train wreck, but I'm going to be honest. It's not a train wreck. It wasn't an unwatchable train wreck, right? I think that this movie, we've watched bad movies, right? And this is a bad movie. It is. I think the acting was subpar. I think that the writing was subpar. I think a lot of the lines and the scenes are kind of cringy. But there were points when I laughed. I laughed out loud because the movie was trying to take itself too seriously. And I don't know. I enjoyed it. I will say that I actually did enjoy this movie, but definitely not for the reason the movie intended.
I agree with a lot of what you said. I don't know if I'd go as far as to say I enjoyed this movie, but it wasn't the worst thing I've ever watched.
You guys are being way too generous with this movie.
Yeah.
The writing was trash. The acting was trash.
And it's hard. I guess it's hard to go too hard on him, because I like the main character. I thought she was really good in Hill House, although she plays the same character, I guess, in this one. But then I also love Dule Hill. Psych is one of my favorite shows of all time.
Dude.
So it's hard for me to talk shit on Burton Guster. But
I don't
you
think he
almost
was
have to,
bad.
because he was talking like he was Batman at some points. But yeah, I guess you're right, Joe. I was being too easy on it. This movie was trash, but top 10 on Netflix. They're really trying to
No
peddle
way.
It, so.
It's
No
brand new.
way
It's been
it's
out
top
for
10.
3 days. They've been
Yeah.
promoting a lot of it. That's why we're here, though.
It's not that.
We are
just
here
push-
to warn people against
exactly.
Netflix promotions that just because it's top 10 doesn't
Gross.
mean it's worth watching. We're going to talk about it. We're going to decide on that definitively. But
You know what we're like? You guys ever
Jesus?
seen people like
Oh.
sifting for gold? Well, yeah, that too. But like, they sift for gold, they dig up all the muck, and then they shake the muck through the sifter.
Yeah.
We're that sifter. We're eating all this shit, and sometimes we find something good.
Sometimes there's a little nugget of gold in there.
So, Joe, what do you think? I think I know what you thought, but
I get what James means is that there was like kind of an entertaining aspect to it. It took about 45, 50 minutes to get into it because the acting and writing was so bad that you just eventually, when you're forced to watch something, you get through it. But it was bad. So,
well, and like it's so predictable too. Like even when they get to like the one part that was like semi good, like the shit that happens is
there's
predictable.
no depth
You're
to
like,
this movie
like,
either.
They make super suspect decisions all the time.
That is what I'll leave it up on, is that like I hate movies, and like this is a lot of movies, so I guess I can't say I hate movies like this, but I hate when it's so obvious that the whole plot of the movie hinges on their fucking blatant stupidity.
Their flawed logic.
Like,
yeah.
Right. And it's just like, that's where, when it's so in your face and so blatant, when you're like, literally it doesn't make sense for them to do that, that's when I'm like, this movie fucking sucks. And that's why, like, I get frustrated with this movie. I said to Julia so many times, I was like, these characters are too stupid for their
But
own
it's
good.
funny,
like,
though.
it's
It was
just-
fun. I can say that I
It
did
is.
laugh. I did, like, verbally laugh at one scene in this movie.
I think we've all expressed our interest and our... You know what? I want to do a favor.
disinterest.
I want each of you guys to say one thing, minus the length of the movie, that you enjoyed about it, and then give me your decision on if you're going to click play or keep scrolling.
Huh.
Sounds good.
That's good, because we've gotten caught in like lies almost, where like one of us will say, "Oh, we're gonna hit play," and then the other two are like, "Why?"
Yeah.
And then you can't think of a reason
Do
why.
you mean all the time when I say I am not agreeing with you guys?
Precisely.
What? Oh fuck, that's
Are you-
hard. James, do you have one?
I'm good to go, but I don't think I should go first. I think Kevin or Joey should go first.
I'll say the story, the plot of it was it was pretty unique in the sense that I haven't seen like a big hypnotherapist storyline, and it was interesting, executed horribly. So positive with a negative.
My positive thing, and I have said it before, is it's actually, it isn't it's an easy movie to watch, but like I think that they give you, like, the production quality is good enough, and like there's enough like either points where there's like a very cringy bad guy scene, or like a funny cringy, you know what I mean, or like a very like stereotypical line, or like obviously a horrible choice by a main character, that I think that this movie isn't unwatchable. I think it's actually very watchable. It's just not an amazing movie. Joey, did you say click play? Or
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I meant to say I'm going to keep scrolling on this. So, James.
Yeah. I actually think on this one I'm going to soft click play.
It's really, that was a really hard question for me. I agree with what you guys have said. I think that last scene in the movie, or the climax, does a decent job at just like keeping you on the edge of your seat. Like, I was engaged. But, and like, honestly, I can see people saying they're going to watch this movie and that they're going to enjoy watching it, just if they like that campy shit. And like James said, it's like a TV movie, not a time commitment. Like, I get all that, and I'm with that. I have a hard time saying click play, though, because I think there have been, and I'd have to think about it for a second, but I know there have been examples of, movies that lean into the campy horror and like do a really good job with it. And this isn't one of them. I'm saying scroll, but I'm not gonna really make fun of people other than James for saying play.
Well, I mean, like, if I said scroll, you'd still make fun of me, so I don't really know.
Yeah, that's fair, that's fair.
That's what the secret motivation behind this show is.
Yeah, it's just roasting
Just rip
me.
James. Except usually the Instagram lately has been rip Kevin.
Yeah, it's
like
true.
that's, as of late, I don't
dude,
think we've roasted.
You know why?
anyone
Because
from
you have no hand in the Instagram.
That is so
Like
true.
me and James curate everything that goes on there, so of course it's going to be review.
Yeah, dude. You want to throw some punches? Get in the ring,
Yeah.
dude.
That is so funny. That's too damn true. You're right. I recognize. Hey, I recognize.
Okay, well, let's take a quick word from our sponsor, and we will get back with more spoilers and in-depth analysis of the movie, after this. Okay, and we're back. We're going to talk some spoilers now, get into the nitty-gritty of the show, and decide what we really hated about this and why we hated about it. And, maybe James will tell us a concrete example of what he liked about it, why he would suggest to anyone to play this movie.
Maybe I will.
Maybe.
Maybe I will.
James
Joey.
is flipping at the end of this.
No,
James is flipping.
You don't know
by the
that?
end of
You
it.
don't know that. All
I
right.
know
No,
that.
you don't.
I know that.
No, you don't.
I've made you flip on better movies.
Listen, bro. I am a man that is open to different forms of entertainment, okay? If there's a bad movie trying to be good and it's really funny, I justify the watch.
This isn't
okay?
a comedy.
We can talk
This
about
isn't
this.
a funny movie.
Yeah, but it is though.
This is about a man mind controlling a woman to
I
fall in
laugh.
love with it. What is funny about this?
Yeah, he's a serial killer. He's absolutely a serial killer. All right.
What I was excited about this movie is it had a strong title behind it. Didn't watch any previews, didn't watch any trailers. Had a strong title. To me, it felt like it was going to be kind of like a Christopher Nolan-esque mind thriller. And I was like, oh, it could be good. And then instantly in the first scene, I realized that this was so far from the mind of Christopher Nolan and had shouldn't even be said in the same sentence as him.
It was
'cause I
bad.
feel horrible to Christopher Nolan for that. But
Dude, I don't like to watch the trailers for the movies. We've talked about that. I don't think any of us really do. But I saw, like, when I saw on Netflix, like, the first 10 seconds came up, when you hover over it. And immediately I was like, this movie's going to suck.
it's funny because I saw that too, and I stopped it before I could, like, really hate it. And I still was like, I should probably just go pick the other movie that I wanted to watch. But
Yeah.
I was like, no, I want to watch this. It's got to be
Joey,
mindfuck,
people
thriller,
need to know.
exciting. And then I was like, oh, it's in the top 10. So like clearly a lot of people are watching it right now. And I was like,
Yeah.
well, we got to decide, is this worth watching or
The
not?
people need to know.
And it was very predictable. There was no question of like who the villain was. There was no question of like who's going to get in trouble here. It was very just drawn out from the very first scene.
They had court admissible evidence at minute like 40. Like
the detective, Dule Hill, showed all of the evidence to random people at one point. I'm like, you can't do that. I don't care if a case is closed. Like you
he
can't
left
just,
it in her apartment.
He
left it in her apartment.
Right. The two girls walk in and they're like, hey, we're kind of suspicious about this dude. We know he was investigated. And he's like, here's all the case files.
Like, I'm sure it's probably like
who
public
the fuck are you?
information,
Wanna help?
but it was just like so ridiculous that like he just opened up everything that he had on the guy.
Literally, all of these problems could have been solved. Like if these, I don't know. I guess that's a lot of movies, but they were so fucking dumb. Like everybody in this movie was so incredibly stupid. Also, you know what else was stupid? You want to hear another fucking stupid gripe of mine?
Always.
Of all the food allergies,
Sesame
to pick
seeds.
for a movie, why would you pick sesame seeds?
It
That's
wasn't
the dumbest
sesame
food.
seeds.
Do you
It
know
was
anybody who's
sesame
allergic
oil,
to sesame?
Sesame
seeds.
No, it's
though.
sesame in
Sesame.
general.
No, I think that
Sesame.
there's something
'Cause-
in no. There's something in sesame seeds and like in other kinds of nuts. I think it's like a common allergy. Like
I do think it's common because I feel like heard of it.
yeah,
But my
I've
biggest
never heard
gripe
that.
with that being the allergy was that there's no sushi roll I've ever heard of that doesn't have some sort of like sesame seed on it or sesame oil. Like it's just so common, I feel like, in sushi. And in the very first scene, he accidentally forgets
He just
that
reaches
he's
for
going
it's
to eat
ceviche.
sushi. And
He like literally just
everybody's like, oh my God, I can't believe we forgot. Oh, I can't believe it was like, you could have died in my house. Oh my God. Like,
if we're gonna be honest, it's his fucking responsibility to not just shove shit in your mouth if you're definitely allergic to something.
yeah. It was just so stupid.
It's the ninth major allergen.
So you're wrong.
That must be labeled in plain language on packaged food. You're right, I'm wrong.
I think it's pretty common, but
Well, ninth, it's not even
well, I
top
think
5.
peanut
so, like,
is too cliche.
I think that there's gonna be a lot of gripes. Let's just can we just leapfrog this back and forth, right? I'll bring up one. So I think her friend is a horrible friend.
Gina.
There is a point.
Dude, I wrote that too.
There's a point in the movie where she's like, "You should go to this therapist. I'm happy. Your ex-husband's happy. My husband's happy, and you're not. You need therapy." And then I'm just like, "Wow, what a great thing to say to a person that needs a therapist."
Which that wasn't even my biggest gripe with it. That was a gripe because I was like, "Wow, that's very
Such a
rude way
shitty
to,
person. What a
say that
shitty
your
thing to
friend."
say.
But
Yeah.
the way they sold it was like, I went to him, and the next day I bought this house, and I got my dream job, as if he also
That's
didn't do any
clickbait.
hypnotherapy on her. She just went to see him,
Yes.
and you could arguably say it was all a coincidence that her life got better, but that's so ridiculously so stupid screenwriting to be like, yes, she went to see him, and then everything in her life got miraculously better overnight. It was so stupid.
Additionally,
that was my gripe with it.
It doesn't make sense. The whole antagonist's main goal is he's trying to he's basically looking for people that look like his wife, right? But he just so happens to run into Jen. It's not like they show anything of him tracking her down. He just is a therapist for her friend, and her friend just so happens to introduce them at a party. It's not like he tracked this person down. He just so happened to meet this person.
Yeah.
Which was
but I think that's his MO.
no, but that's dumb.
I don't think he was at that party looking for her. I think
No.
he's just the type of person who's out on the on the hunt at all times.
Yes.
Because why would a therapist go to any of his patients'
A house
parties that he doesn't know anybody? That party scene drove me nuts.
Stupid.
It was so
Yeah.
bad. There was so many cliches, so much poor writing in it. It just was so ridiculously bad, and it drove me nuts.
I didn't.
Also, maybe we made different life choices than all the people in that room, but we're getting close to those people's ages, and I don't think I'll ever just casually go to someone's house dressed
No.
for a casual
Fuck
Friday
that.
night party. What is that party for?
Do you know how nice
what I'm
their
saying?
house is too?
Well,
Damn.
it was a housewarming party,
Yeah,
and they
that's
were
true.
inviting their friends, but yeah.
Oh, it was a housewarming
It
party?
was a housewarming
I
party
didn't
because
get
at one
that.
point he says,
Uh.
when he almost ate the sushi and died, he was like, "Damn, man, you almost died at my housewarming party," or some passing line like that in my new house.
Then maybe I'm just super immature because I feel like any of our housewarming parties will be very trashy, and a lot of alcohol will
Yeah.
be consumed in a sloppy
Yeah, but I feel
manner.
that's the MO of any. Was this a horror movie? What, Joey? What was the type?
I think it's a
Was it
psychological
thriller?
It's
thriller.
got to be thriller, right?
Is
Yeah,
what
it
it would
wasn't
be
that.
classified as.
I wasn't thrilled. I can
Drama,
say that
horror,
confidently.
mystery. Actually, wow,
Drama, horror, history
mystery
is what it was.
Mystery.
Oh, mystery.
It's funny, all my gripes, James, you said, let's just bounce gripes off of each other, whatever. All my gripes literally have to do with the single idea that they're all so stupid. I didn't, literally all of them. The fact that he just shows them the case files, the fact that he didn't make those connections with all the girls
Yeah.
looking the same in the first
Yeah,
investigation.
when it was
The
being
fact that he
investigated,
literally says at one
actually by the
point-
police.
He
the
says,
first time?
"Just stay away from him at all costs." After they go visit him at
I
the
like
police officer,
puzzles.
and then her very
And,
next scene
hey,
is her going into his office.
Oh yeah. Literally,
Maybe-
literally, it is
Oh my
5
God.
seconds. It is. She looks to her friend and is like, "Hey, we need to promise to each other we're not gonna see him again, and we're gonna make distance." And then she goes, "Okay," and then she goes, "Okay." Camera cuts. She's sitting in his office.
Yup.
and she's just like, hey, can you hypnotize me again?
It's from the
there's,
girl who's been so
it's just like,
anti-hypnosis this
fuck
whole
me.
time, and now she's like,
Yeah, well,
it just was
she's like,
so
"This is fucked."
predictable, cliche, and
Or the cop goes to her house, they have the conversation. He doesn't think to maybe post a cop outside her door because they're pretty sure he's gonna try and kill her. And then he's like, oh, can't tell them about the, like, they don't know that I'm still investigating this, so I can't tell them. It's like, shut the fuck
like,
up.
a woman
Are
is
you
being
kidding
threatened
me?
right now.
Shut up, dude. That's so stupid. That's where I get annoyed, because it's like, that was just like, they were just like, I need to figure out a way to make it so that the cops aren't there at this time, and they're like, okay, we'll just make up this bullshit, and it's just
Wait,
like,
so
not
can we
believable.
also? I want to tell one more major gripe that I had because it made no sense in the story. At least they didn't explain it. There's no logic or reason behind her getting out of any of her hypnotic states when she did.
No.
Like when she was at dinner with her ex, she just randomly comes out of her hypnotic state, but there was nothing, no like
I
click,
think it's
no like word, nothing that was ever said. And then the same thing
I think it's like you
happens-
complete the task. Like you're like conditioned to do one task, you do the task, and then it's like once you're done the task, you come back to. Because it's not like you're hypnotized all the time, you know?
It makes it
Like,
seem though it's like
even-
you are going to be hypnotized until I say wake up or relax or something.
Yeah, but you say that, but at the end when she like has like he hypnotized her and he's like, don't let go of that bed frame. You know what I mean? Like she's like holding onto the bed frame, and then she like is able to like figure a way to like like after a little while she can let go. Because the trigger had nothing to do with that. Like the anti-hypnosis, which was also fucking stupid. They're like, we can't get rid of his hypnosis, so we're gonna give you our own good hypnosis.
Nah, dude, that was so stupid, but also so funny. I was just like, this is just.
I also
ridiculous.
like that it's
She's
like it looks like a person that could totally just be like a therapist. You know what I mean? Like it was just like some lady, and she's like, "I've never seen anything this deep. We have to go deeper." And you're like, I
It's
feel like
like-
this office is above a Walgreens.
it feels like something out of South Park. Like it's just like it seems so normal in that office, and she's like also practicing like.
There's like, she's like, I've never seen hypnosis so powerful.
It was literally like
I can't get rid of the triggers, but I must lay one of my own. And then
can I give you
and then,
another?
wait, and
Maybe you guys can
she
help.
gives this
Okay,
really
go ahead.
cringy response where she's like, I'm never going to do this again, but set it or something like that. And I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? Are we watching like fucking store brand Inception right now?
Wish.com Inception.
Wish.com Inception.
Wish.com Inception. Maybe you guys can help me figure this one out, because Jewel was trying to like give it some rationale, but it was not working. The girl is seeing the spider on her, like her friend
hallucinating.
is seeing the spider on her. She's hallucinating, whatever, and she just like steps on the gas, like not the brakes, like. She's like, there's a spider on me. Let me just hit the accelerator into a fucking train. Wouldn't you want to hit the brakes?
So
Also, I don't know how hypnosis can like conjure
and
an
don't
illusion.
you tell me that in his suggestion it was like
No,
drive
no.
into a train,
Oh,
because he would have no
I
fucking
think
idea where
that
she was.
in their hypno,
Okay, she
I think
probably
in their
would have hit the
hypnotherapy
brakes.
sessions though, he amplified all of their fears.
Yeah.
That's my thought.
I totally get that, but why would her instinct be
Well, her
gas
foot was already
pedal,
on the
not brake
gas,
pedal?
so I think just instinct is just to like tense up and like
She, like,
push.
freaked out.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I do.
I think it was a mistake. Like, there's no way he could have been
No.
certain that she was gonna die. You know what I mean? Because like this is it, right? Like, because he said the exact same line that he did when the initial woman died in the elevator, right?
Yeah.
He said the world is ending or something like that. Like,
This
the
is
world
how
is
the
coming
world
to an
ends.
end. This is how the world ends. Is the line? Yeah. So he says that, which induces this like intense fear. Which at one point, what's the character's name? What's Burton Guster's name in this movie, or his like actual actor name?
He's the one
It's like,
person. Wade Rollins.
Anderson or something, or
Wade.
Rollins,
Yeah, I remember his first name was
yeah.
Wade because I love the name Wade. So Wade, I do. Random fact about James. James loves the name Wade.
Such a
I don't know why.
weird
I just really like it. But
all you Wade,
all you
listeners
Wade
out there,
hey,
James loves
all
your
Wades
name.
in this world except for the bad ones. I love you. So what's it called? So Wade, the detective, at one point explains that she died. He's like, I think she died of a heart attack, but what she actually died of is intense fear, and to the point where she had a heart attack. And you're like, okay, that seems like a very important piece of evidence. But yeah, okay, sounds good. And then it's the same trigger, right? So he's trying to kill the main character's best friend with like intense fear, and it just so happens to get two birds with one stone because she's driving a car and kills her husband. You know, like,
well, that's what I'm saying. I think that he
knew he was going to kill her. He didn't think he was going to kill him.
No, I think because she says, I'm in the car with my husband. He goes, oh, even better. Like, I don't think he planned for it, but I think that he, in their hypnotherapy sessions, like, amplified, like, when you hear this word, you're going to see your biggest fear, and it's going to, like, lead you to, like, almost kill yourself type of thing.
Yeah.
I think it was almost
but
like
what I'm saying is
suicidal
like,
kind of, like...
Wouldn't it be worse, though, if the husband was there? Like, if they weren't driving, right? Like, if they weren't driving, and the husband... like, if they're just, like, in the house...
That's so
and
true.
she just gets a call, and she's like, huh? And he's like, the world is ending, or whatever the trigger is. And then she just, like, has a heart attack and dies. The husband, like, watched her get a call, and then die. Like...
And then could
or
save
he
her.
could save her.
If she had a heart attack, you can revive someone.
In addition, I feel like many of the deaths in this movie could be avoided if people stopped answering calls with no caller ID.
Right?
Fucking literally.
They knew that was like
literally.
a problem.
They try and they write it up as like, oh, I'm waiting for a call from the buyers.
Unknown number.
Literally. Unknown number. What? When you're buying a house and you're working with a realtor, you're not gonna fucking block
they
your
have the
number. Do you want them to know? And she's like, "Oh, here he is. Here they are. They're calling
and now
me."
I'm dead.
And then, he's like, "Hey,
why would
it's
you
Doctor
just instantly
So-and-so."
hang up?
Click.
Hang up.
Yeah.
Click.
Done.
That's
He's
it.
not a
Click.
superhero.
Yeah.
He has to like talk to you.
There was
so stupid. It's
so much
so
wrong with
incredibly
this
stupid.
Yeah. In addition, so this is another. So we're bouncing gripes, right? We're bouncing gripes. We're doing it rapid fire bounce gripes.
Bouncing back and forth.
I literally laughed. After she figured out like that she killed or she like put her ex-husband Brian in a coma from, you know, literally poisoning him with sesame seeds. She like figures out like she has this like she sees the receipt where she bought sesame oil and like has this like memory come back to her where the like Dr. Mead told her to do that, right? And like as soon as she figures it out, right? It pans back to Dr. Mead in his office wearing all black and a black turtleneck, sitting back in his chair like this and sipping scotch. And I'm like, wow, way to like so verbally and visually tell me that this is the bad guy. I fucking got it the minute he was on screen.
Hey, James, you bring up such a great point that like, so look, sometimes there's movies where they don't give you enough context in the movie to know what's going on, but then they don't explain anything, so you don't know what, like, at the end when the twist happens, you don't know what happens. So that's one end of the spectrum. Then the other end is where it's, like, so blatantly obvious what's going on or what they're trying to get across to you, but then they still tell you. So, like, that scene in particular, and then also towards the end, when she's all dressed in red, we've already seen flashbacks to his wife. Like, we've already figured out that this dude literally is trying to trick her into being his wife. And she goes, so you just are trying to make me your wife?
Oh,
or
my, yeah, no, she, like,
that. And
reiterates
like,
the
fucking
plot.
yes, we got it. We got that. Yes. Like, that literally is unnecessary.
It is preposterous to me that this movie can be fucking categorized as a mystery. Bro, like, the first 15 minutes of this movie, you knew who the bad guy was.
Yeah.
You're like, it's the creepy
You
fucking
meet him,
doctor.
you're like, this is bad dude. Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
The fucking movie's called Hypnotic, and it's the creepy serial killer doctor.
And he does hypnosis. Yeah.
Riddle me this, Batman. Of the 4 characters we've introduced, which one do you think's going to be the bad guy? Is it going to be
The main
character, her best friend,
Her
the
comatose
cop,
husband?
or the doctor? Yeah.
Yeah.
The comatose husband. Like, obviously it's going to be the fucking doctor.
And his better yet, his office is grayscale.
What the fuck
with
was
red
that
lights.
office?
With red lights.
I thought we were in the
With
fucking
red
Death
lights.
Star. I was like, where is this place? What is with all the polygons? No one is comfortable here. No one is comfortable
Well, then you
here.
have that creepy woman.
His
just
whole
always
wall
there.
was like the mask from the front man.
Yeah. Literally. Like if you took it and like broke it apart, yeah, from Squid Game.
You have
Yeah.
that creepy woman who just keeps coming out, and she just like plucks her hair and is also.
And she
Who
fucking
was just
stabbed.
used to sneak out of a sink and like stab.
That scene was awesome. I was dying at that scene. I loved that scene when she like attacks
dude,
Wade.
dude, during that scene, I'm sitting there, and he's like looking around. The cop is looking around, thinking that the evil Dr. Mead is like in the house, right? And I'm sitting there thinking, there's no way Dr. Mead gets to the detective's house before the detective, because they were leaving from the same place, and the detective left before him. Anyway, I'm thinking that the whole time, that it's going to be Mead in the house. And then it's the shot of the detective sitting on his couch, eating his food, and she comes out from under the sink. And at first, I thought it was Dr. Mead. And I
No
was like,
fucking way.
this grown-ass man is hiding under the sink. I was like, how fucking uncomfortable. That was a
Yeah.
big man. Like,
He's a
how
tall
did he
guy.
fit
In
under
addition,
the-
so
like
much funnier.
this is a woman.
That
This
was
woman
so
has
bad.
no
Yeah,
combat training. She's just hiding under the sink, and she's like, "I'm gonna just stab the cop." I also like that he like goes to what's it called? Can we talk about this? Is actually a really funny plot point that I didn't think about until just this moment. You know when Wade goes to visit, what's it called? Goes to visit the main character at her apartment. I don't remember. Or her name's Jenna.
Jen.
So Jenny.
Jenny?
Jenny. So Jenny is in her apartment. Wade comes. They talk about the case. He leaves case files. He leaves no less than 2 minutes, like 30 seconds later. 30 seconds later, Dr. Mead.
They saw
Dr.
each
Mead,
other
that's what I'm
in the
fucking saying.
elevator.
They saw each other in the fucking hallway
Also,
on the way.
Why don't you look at the peephole when someone knocks on your door
Yeah.
after you know someone's out to kill you?
Oh, literally.
You always do that.
She's like, she comes up to the door. You guys are the door looking in, right? Okay, I'm walking up to the door. I'm like, who could that be?
Hey,
Open
I'm
the
being
door,
stalked by
looking at the
someone
wall.
who is a murderer, confirmed murderer. How about I blatantly open my door for anyone?
Wait, can we go back to the scene though, real quick? That where the detective was being attacked by that woman with a knife, and
Yes.
there's that
Awesome
the
scene.
final scene, the final part of that scene where she's like running at him with the knife. He like isn't paying attention,
And he
and you
fucking
just think
kills
that
her.
he's gonna be like, "Oh fuck!" Like I'm too focused on my wounds to do it, and then he like sees her and he goes, "Oh," and just grabs literally nothing. I don't know what it was, and just goes.
It's like a brick.
He like
It's
breaks
like
her
a-
neck and then yeets her onto a table.
The fighting in this movie was hilariously bad. Like, yeah,
So bad.
What's it called? When
How bad was
Wade
it?
and Dr. Mead, so bad. When Wade and Dr. Mead are fighting, Dr. Mead is like on top of him, and they're doing the classic like punch where it's so obvious they're not making contact, and Wade's going. You know, like if you go back
And then he gets fucking shot in the shoulder.
yeah.
What an
If you go back and watch
insult.
that, it is like if me and like it's probably again, I'm sure that like, you know, there's probably a reason it was bad. Like the punch wasn't like wound up at all. It didn't look like a real punch, and like there's no connection on Wade, like at all.
If the listeners by now have not gotten how we felt about this movie, just go fucking watch the movie.
Yeah,
at this
right?
point. Like if you don't believe us, go watch
Right,
it.
Kevin?
Like, yes. Oh, wait, no. You tricked me.
One last question: did the final plot twist where she thought that Dr. Mead was Dule Hill, did you
Nope.
guys for a second even
Nope.
believe that it was actually okay? Or
No, because
No.
5 seconds after
Not for
5
fucking
seconds
second.
after he says it, he says my love, and you're like,
What?
oh. And then it goes into the flashback where it's
Right.
like counter hypnosis.
And also, like there was just this traumatic event, and he was getting
he
his
was getting
ass
his ass
whooped.
whooped.
He was getting his ass whooped, and then he's just like, "Hey," he's like, "You're awake." Haha.
She was
Wasn't
You're
that
such
so
a good
crazy?
shot.
She was
You
also
shot-
being
You shot him right in the head, and I don't have any
she
blood
was
on
also
me.
being
I took a
hypnotically
shower.
falling asleep at that point and trying to shoot a
Mhm.
gun where she had like this little bit of like a window.
She
'cause
definitely shot
he
the
wa-
cop.
was-
She
Oh, she did. Yeah.
She did. He has
Oh,
a
okay.
bullet in his shoulder.
Yeah, I was like, there's no way,
good
like,
fucking shot.
Even in a
idiot.
bad movie,
And
that
he
she
says,
could
he
make
goes-
that
he
shot.
goes- he goes-
Like,
Yeah.
James, you missed the best line then, because she's like tending to him, and he's like,
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
That was the movie for you. That
That's
is
so
it.
funny.
Like,
That's so funny.
it's just
Oh fuck, that's it.
so
in a
bad.
nutshell.
Unless you want to watch and rip on
Oh.
a movie with your friends,
It's so good.
this
dude.
is not
This
the
is
one.
a good. This is a good movie. I'm not gonna lie.
I want to guess the Metascore.
This could be like weirdly high, like weirdly high. You know,
James,
like,
I want to
it's
hear
been
your
so
number
off.
first. Let's.
I don't know. Like I don't want to pick the middle. Like I either got to pick 20s or 50s. Like there's no middle. I can't it has to be high or low. It has to be 60s or 20s, I swear. I'm going to go 21.
21. Okay, Kev.
No, it's 34.
Oh.
It is not 34.
It's 33.
Is it?
Oh.
Wow. I'm shocked. I really would have guessed like a 15 on this one. And I was like,
Yeah.
I'm shocked at how high
I was
it
like
was. Wow, the San Francisco Chronicle gave this a 75.
wow. Nice. Yo, San Francisco
That's
Chronicle.
the only
I'm
reason
really
it's so
glad
high.
Out of 1,000?
Yeah, I'm
Out of
so
100.
glad to know that someone from the San Francisco Chronicle that is responsible for reviewing movies has either a significant
Who is that
other-
idiot?
No,
Get him
no,
on
they
this
have a
podcast.
significant other or a child that works for this movie.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, exactly.
I need to read you
Whoa,
this
whoa,
like
whoa.
headline from the San Francisco Chronicle. This is the
Do it.
kind of made-for-cable level movie where a pedestrian script with the usual horror cliches is elevated as in a
Shut up.
promising, by strong acting, no nonsense direction, and a couple of neat twists. First of all, acting was horrible. There was no,
How much were they
Cool
paid by this
twists.
movie?
and the direction sucked.
There was no
Like, there was
twist.
no mystery
there
whatsoever.
was no twist. There was no twist. That's that. I will say that confidently about this movie. Like there was maybe a twist. Like they tried to do a twist, but the thing is they told you what the twist was 10 minutes into the fucking movie.
Literally, it was so bad.
It's not a twist.
This is a conspiracy that goes all the way to the top. We have to find out who the fuck this reviewer was and who he was related
Kevin will get
to.
this back to you and post it on Instagram. He'll find out why the San Francisco Chronicle does Netflix own San Francisco Chronicle?
That would be hilarious to if Netflix owned
A newspaper?
the San Francisco Chronicle, and they still only
A
gave their own movie a
75.
Okay, let's double
That's so
down.
funny. Can I go first? No. Oh wait, yes,
What?
I am doubling down. Yes, double down. No, don't.
I don't know,
watch this
Kevin. You
movie.
did just say that you would recommend this to somebody. So
Shut up.
so
Don't watch this movie.
I'm doubling down too. I thought this movie was funny. Okay. I'm going to be honest, right? It's not a good movie. It isn't. It's not a good movie, but I do think it's worth a click play because I thought it was hilarious. Like I will be like, listen, if you're looking for an hour and 20 minutes and you're trying to look for like a movie that's trying to take itself so seriously and you think it's fucking funny, like watch this movie. I will recommend this movie to people because I think that it is a funny watch.
You're wrong.
Should I email the writer of the review
Yes.
for this movie? His name's G.
Yes.
Allen Johnson, and it gives me an option to contact him through their website.
Yo, plug the podcast.
I would do it from our Gmail account.
Oh my god.
And my subject line, I wrote
Why?
"how," and then in the body, I'm
Why?
gonna say, "Where do you get off?"
Tune in next time to see what
Should I do it?
happens. Joey, what do you think?
Oh, I'm doubling down. Don't watch this movie. It's just not worth it. It's not entertaining like James pretends to make it.
It is entertaining. You were entertained. By definition, it was entertaining.
I'm entertained by this conversation,
Yeah.
but
All right. Well,
That's it.
listeners, you watch the movie and you tell us what you think because I think I'm right.
okay, James, take it away. Tell the viewers how they can support us.
I could do that. Thank you all for watching. We really appreciate it. If you want to engage with us more, follow us on our Instagram at flicks_fellas. We're very active on there. We talk to listeners all the time, and we like to take your suggestions for movies going forward. And if you're fast, we still are recording a few episodes of season 2, and hopefully we'll be able to get your suggestions in, and we'll give you a shout out on the podcast if you give us a suggestion. In addition, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're trying to grow that base. We have been growing pretty steadily. We've had some good engagement on there, but we're trying to get more. So please comment on our YouTube channel. Consider subscribing and like this video. Share it with your friends, and let us know what you think. Give us some suggestions in the comments there too, and we may see them for season 2 yet, or potentially season 3. Spoilers. In addition, we love you. Check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all other major podcasting platforms. Make sure to leave a review if you can. We appreciate your time, and we will see you next week.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye-bye.